Hey guys, good to see you all here. First of all, happy Chinese New Year and welcome to the year of the water rabbit. Now, I think a lot of people are new to metaphysics and probably are asking this question about, February 4th being the transition to the water rabbit. Why is it not following the Chinese New Year? If you're new to metaphysics, then this will be the first lesson. Okay, the metaphysics, especially when we're talking about Feng Shui or Bazi or Qi Men or Yi Jing, we use the Chinese solar calendar, which is the 24 season calendar, or we can say the 24 solar terms calendar. And so that transition to the new year, the year of the water rabbit or the year of the water tiger, it's always generally on February 4th. So the calculations of the first day of spring is considered the transition to the actual year. So what we celebrate based on the festivities of the Lunar New Year, it's based on the lunar calendar, which every year is different. Okay, so this year, 2023, it happens to be that the year transits in the lunar calendar. For the year of the rabbit is January 22nd. Okay, so today technically we are on our fifth day of the Lunar New Year, but we don't do our Feng Shui calculations based on this day. So if you have any friends who have a baby that is born today, it's still considered the year of the water tiger for that baby, for the Bazi chart. I just want you to be very clear. I think a lot of you guys, probably if you're in Western countries, you probably have this question, right? Is it Lunar New Year? Why don't we change the animal size? That's the first that's the first reason here. Okay. All right. Happy New Year, everyone, and so good to be able to see all of you guys here joining me on the fifth day of Chinese New Year. So today is our recommencement of work day. So it's an auspicious day for us to restart our work. Well, generally we choose a nice day, good day to restart work. And so I have an hour here with you guys. I just thought let's do a quick chit chat and give some updates. And also I've just posted a question here on this morning's Telegram about, what would you guys like me to talk about most? And I think at least about 50% of you guys would like me to talk about Feng Shui. And then there's like at least 50% of you guys say, let's talk about Bazi. All right. So now I think if you guys have not yet been to my Feng Shui and Astrology event here in Kuala Lumpur, because we did a live event just a week ago, but before the Chinese New Year, and it was sold out event. We have 11,000 people attending live after 3 years. This is really heartwarming to be able to see so many people on stage again. And we talked about a lot of things. It's 2 full days of content, talking about the Feng Shui and astrology and Qi Men and Yi Jing aspects for 2023. But then at the same time, there's still a ton of requests from fans or tribe members, our tribe members from everywhere else around the world saying, hey, you missed the event. Can you do a recast and all that? Well, we tried at first, but realized that the recast might not be geared towards different countries around the world. So I thought, let's up the game. I told my team, you know what? Let's do an event, a live stream event with the global audience in mind, and redo the entire event live stream to everybody. So that's what the Feng Shui and Astrology World Edition is about. So it is a fresh new program, although the some of the topics are similar, but the presentation will be based on the global view. And so it's different in a way. Okay, so and also some of the topics are more in line with other countries around the world: Singapore, America, UK, Indonesia, which I didn't talk about in my Kuala Lumpur event. So if you're from the Philippines or from Vietnam, from Hong Kong, from different parts of the world, then the world edition would be an event that you would like to that you should connect on to watch live stream. Okay, so do join us. Then all the details are on the comment section right now. So at the comment section of this video, you should be able to see a link that brings you to the details of that program. Okay. All right. So RJ is asking this question. Let me put up his question. So if you have questions for me, go ahead and post it right here so that I could answer them. So this is from RJ. What should we put the cure for 5 yellow before February 4th or after? The answer is after. Okay. So normally we would select a date that is suitable for your house, as in most appropriate for your house to actually activate it or use the in this case is a cure to mitigate the 5 yellow. And if you're putting it in the home, generally for 2023, it's either Northwest 2 or Northwest 3. If you are, for most houses, Northwest 1 for if there's a specific activation that was done last year and it was carried forward, then we use Northwest 1. So the positioning of the cure needs to be precise in order to have the actual outcome that you want. Okay, so to answer your questions, after February 4th. Okay, let's see here. Wei Jian Tan, when is the new course for youngsters choosing career direction in life? Is it soon? Well, I have not decided on the exact date and time for this program because I first need to find out, is this just career direction or maybe life transformation for the younger people, and what age group? I think generally the two groups of people after school, right? The first group of people is those who would want to work for someone, right? They want to work to gain experience working for other people. So those they will eventually, the path will become an employee, right? And the next group of people they want to be self-employed. Now, self-employed doesn't mean you become a business owner. You're just employed by yourself, okay? So it's still an employment, but the routes, the road that they are taking, it's very different. And the skill set and the Feng Shui and the Bazi and the choices that they would make along the way is very different. One might be a safer route, but then there is limited capacity when it comes to freedom. Whereas the other one has a lot of freedom, but if you're working for a bad boss, because self-employed means they're working for themselves and they themselves are a bad boss and bad leadership, it will actually be more disastrous for them. So deciding where to go is one thing, but developing the right skill set, the right setting up the right Feng Shui, and activating the right aspect of their parts is so important. Okay. So that part needs a bit of time for me to go through the content, to create a content for this young people. But I'm thinking somewhere between 16-year-old to just below 30. I think below 30 is a bit too old to consider youngsters these days for a young millionaire program. But you guys can decide on that. Let me know, okay? Because it's every program that we develop, there's a lot of R&D costs and all that to come with it, and preparation and all that. So it's younger generations will find it a little bit difficult to get into that maybe that range. Okay, so I'll still have to think about it. Okay, all right. Let's just see here. How for an apartment? How do we find the period 9 compliance since we don't have main road for an apartment? Well, Teresa, you have to first decide on the orientation of the building. So for apartments, some apartments are very clear. The design is oriented to face a certain direction. Some are quite complex because they're multiple facing directions. So we need to study not just the main roads, but look at the roof structure, look at the overall design and where it's actually designed to face. And once we decided on a orientation, if you can't decide an orientation, then you can't actually use flying stars for this building because you don't know the facing. So in that sense, you have to use Xuan Kong Dagua, which is the 64 hexagram method of superimposing it over the floor plans and looking for where the period 9 energy spots are. So because Xuan Kong Dagua is not dependent on the facing side of the house, that means you don't need to know the facing for Xuan Kong Dagua, okay, of the house. So you can actually use it regardless of so-called property orientation. You can just use it for door orientation and or stove orientation or bed orientation, which is much more simpler. So there are different ways to do period 9 compliance for houses that are difficult to choose facing. That's how we do it. Okay. All right. Now let me see here. How can we talk about how to gain more customers or interest in one business? Well, of course, this is a big topic. In fact, that depends on whether or not you are focusing your energies first on creating awareness over your existence in the business. Because a lot of people, when they do business, when they start out an organization or they start their freelancing work, and then they expect customers to turn up. But then if you ask them, they have not focused any energy. Now, I keep saying focus because wherever you're focusing, what aspects you're focusing on in life, you're actually sending energy towards that direction or that aspect, or you're manifesting that outcome. So if you don't actually have a campaign or activities or Feng Shui setups that is geared towards awareness, creating awareness over what you serve or the market that you serve, the people that you serve, then you will not have customers in the first place. Okay, because your friends or your potential customers can't just suddenly manifest, or in their meditation they see you, right? Okay, so even the Feng Shui setup has to be geared towards the story or the message you want to bring awareness to. Like for us, it's quite simple because we're in a business of Feng Shui and astrology. We'll just talk about 2023. And if you're interested in Feng Shui for 2023, then you turn up being in our awareness, radiance, right? So you got to find a focus point. You kind of say, I'm going to activate this star, and then people just take notice of me. What? You got to have something to focus on for that person to focus on you, right? So you got to come up with that storyline, that product, that service, and what problems are you trying to serve? And then you can choose between the 9 stars, which is what Flying Stars is about, and activate the appropriate one that brings in the attention. So it's not one star for all. A lot of people think, just tell us which sector, damn it, right? Just tell us the sector and put stuff there and then I'll be famous. If that's the case, every Feng Shui master should be famous, right? They just activate the fame corner. Of course, it doesn't work that way, okay? So it has to be specific. So, and that's why in the class, it's time to talk to you guys and help you guys understand what is the aspect that you're trying to bring awareness to in the first place. So that's how you gain potential customers. You haven't even gained them yet. You're bringing awareness to a field that you're serving. And then from there, then you got to work on the next part, which is the skill set to convert them into potential customers. Then you can choose one of the stars. Is it your closing ability? Is it your trust level? Or is it that likability? Is it charm? Is it magnetism? What is it that we need to activate in Feng Shui, right? Which you don't activate what you're already good at. You activate what you're weak at. So you got to do some self-understanding to understand, okay, I'm not that great at connecting on a personal level. People find that that personal connection is absent. Okay, now we're going to set up the Feng Shui to actually help you in terms of personal connection, that trust level increases. That way, we are more specific to what problems you have. So most people just assume that in Feng Shui, if you that's the wealth corner, just put it in the wealth corner and then shit happens, right? Everything will be all right. It doesn't work that way. If it does, just remember that, there are tons of people who do Feng Shui and only have half, maybe 30%, 20% result because it's not specific. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, so now you know. Let's see. Yeah. So is a metal gate sufficient to mitigate 5 yellow, or do I need another Feng Shui cure? Now, to answer your question, generally a metal gate does 0 impact on your 5 yellow. Okay, any metal cure needs to be designated as a cure by intention, by choosing a date to put the item. Okay, I'll talk about this on the Feng Shui and Astrology World Edition, dates for you to actually do this. Okay, so, and the exact location to do it, because then it's specific for treating or mitigating the 5 yellow. If you just have a metal gate, most people have metal gates everywhere or whatever metal object somewhere, then then all this will just automatically turn into a cure? No, they don't. It has to be designated vibrationally through the date and location and time. Then and only then it is a cure specific for that the 5 years. So take it this way, right? Let's just say you're taking medication. Now, whatever vitamins you're taking in your daily diet, also you take, right? How come you don't have enough of these vitamins? Because it's not specific treatment. You gotta take it at a specific set. There's a timing, there's number of doses and amount that you need to take in order for you to treat the problem, correct? That's the same way when it comes to Feng Shui. Okay, so now you know. Let's just see. My gas range is in Southwest, which is not good this year. What cure should I apply? First of all, why do you assume that is not good? Now, star 1 in Southwest is mostly good this year. First, we need to understand why you form this conclusion that's not good before we can deploy a cure. In my opinion, this might not even need a cure in the first place because it's not a problem. Okay, so I don't think it's a problem. But if you feel it is a problem because you have collected some information somewhere, then at least explain to me what's the basis that you think Southwest is bad for you this year, because it's actually star 1 is pretty good this year. Okay. Nowadays, 15 years old, quite matured enough to listen to your talks. I hope so too. The last time I did this event for youngsters was in 2014, and some of the parents sent their 12-year-old kids. And it was not easy for me to talk to 12-year-old kids. 15, I think mostly they're okay, right? If they can sit through 3 days, I'll be glad to do an event for them. Let me just get your questions out here. Pammy Asia. All right. My question is, which floor plan should I use for improvement on wealth? Is it the work floor plan or the house floor plan of the business owner? Great question. So most people are considering, should I Feng Shui my house or Feng Shui my office? That's one of the questions that people ask all the time. Now, we normally do both, but if it involves teamwork, it involves the cooperation of other people in your office, if it involves marketing, if it involves promotion, if it involves legal or finance, then the Feng Shui setup should be in the office. Okay, but if it is improving yourself, if you want to improve your ability as a business owner, if you want to improve your ability to connect with potential clients and customers, if you want to connect, if you want to activate your connection with mentors, then it should be done. Feng Shui should be set up in your house. So they both affect different aspects of your life. So for me, when I set up my office, I don't set it up based on me because I'm not in the office all the time and I don't do operational stuff. So I was set up in such a way that my team gets the benefit of the Feng Shui. So they do well, and as a result, they do well, then I will do well. So I invest the Feng Shui energies on them, not on me. Okay. So the mistake a lot of people do is, I'm the business owner, so Feng Shui needs to be set up for me in my office. And so what do you get? You don't get a business owner becoming rich. You get a business owner becoming tired. Right? You go start a business to become rich, not become tired. You know why did that happen? Because the old-fashioned Feng Shui master set up the Feng Shui based on the business owner, and so every decision, every small thing, every little thing the owner has to go through that. So you working, the business going to work you until you die. All right. So you don't want to do that. You want your business to be working for you to be able to generate the income, generate the prosperity for you. So you want to work on the business, not in the business. So the setup, the Feng Shui requires you to think this way. You understand what I mean? And so a lot of people ask, can I just activate the wealth corner? If I just activate the wealth corner, my business will be good. Who told you that activating the wealth corner is what your business needs? You see, you assume that if I just activate the wealth corner, my business do it. Yeah, every Feng Shui master also say that. Listen, not every Feng Shui master is rich, okay? So that's why they don't think. Listen, it's not always that. You got to understand what's preventing your business from accessing increased revenue. Now, let's say you don't know. Then you should know, isn't it? then you should be focusing on the ability to do good R&D, research work, right? The ability to understand your market, ability to do marketing, perhaps, with ability to create awareness over your product and service. Maybe that's it. Or maybe you are not doing as well because you keep losing money. Or maybe you spend too much on things you don't need. You don't even know why, right? You run a business and you have zero idea of how finance works. Then you got to work on certain stars that give you good control over finance. Then you know how to increase profitability in a structured way, all right? Or maybe you suck at leadership. You just can't lead a team, right? People who work for you don't want to work for you because they think they hate your guts. So you're a bad leader. Then you got to work on leadership, right? So the things that make a company or an organization wealthy could be different for different companies. So it's not always the wealth star. But people assume it's the wealth star. It's just all it takes is this business come look for me and I'll be doing okay, right? No, it's not like that. That's why a lot of businesses, when they apply Feng Shui, that's the value of the Feng Shui practitioner working the Feng Shui for you. He or she does the thinking like, okay, what's the real problem here? It's not the lack of wealth star. Everyone in their company or whatever setup is, that there will be a wealth star somewhere. But is it more wealth star that you want? No. For example, a professional homemaker or a housewife or house husband, whatever you call that, activates the wealth star. Wealth star means work hard, So which means now you got a lot of house chores like washing the floor and cleaning the toilets and doing all stuff, all those more without the income aspect. So I wouldn't activate that if you're, working like that at home. So there's different things that you need to think about when you're deploying Feng Shui. That's the value of the Feng Shui practitioner when it comes in to think about your Feng Shui. Not come in, oh, let's activate the wealth star. This guy needs to activate the wealth star. No, of course it's not like that, okay? You have 9 stars to use in generic Feng Shui of the year. Which one applies? Which one is your true wealth? That depends on what your business needs. And that's why working the Feng Shui on your business, the setup of your business premises, is very different than setting up the Feng Shui for your home. Because in your home, you need different types of activation. Okay? All right. So, let me see other questions here. This one here, Yato, year of the snake, what day can move in for new house? What direction good for my year? Listen, you can move in on any auspicious day. It doesn't mean moving in on a good day, your house from bad will become good, yeah? So first of all, I would think your direction of the house is not just based on the year of your birth, okay? If you want to know that, you can go to joeyap.com, go to print out your parcel chart. All your auspicious directions will be listed there. Okay, you can follow that for generic directions. But a lot of people think that if I just choose a good day to move in a house, everything else will be perfect for me. It's not like that. When you move into a house, activating the Feng Shui depends on the date that you choose. So first of all, your house must have good Feng Shui. So if your house hasn't set up for good Feng Shui, moving in whatever date is irrelevant, isn't it? It's like 10 times 0 equals 0. Or it's like you go to a salon and say you want to perm hair, but you don't have hair. So what are you perming, right? Nothing. So choosing a good date without referencing the property's Feng Shui setup, it's a waste of time, okay? So now you know. Should we flip the Feng Shui chart for the Southern Hemisphere so that, for example, the well positioned north rather than south? The answer is absolutely no. Now, a lot of people think the Southern Hemisphere, because of the climate difference, right? Your winter is in the June, July, August period, whereas other people, Northern Hemisphere, the winter is in November, December, January time. So because the elements are different, so you have to flip the compass direction and therefore the wealth energies as well. This is the biggest mistake an amateur in Feng Shui will make. All right. I know there's a whole group of people talking about this, but I strongly oppose this because first you have to understand Feng Shui is not based on climate. Although some of the texts use the so-called climate temperature, but it's a metaphor to explain elements. It's not based on climate. It's actually based on star positions or planetary or constellations. Now, if you look at the Earth's the Earth's orbit around the sun, all right, wherever the Earth is orbiting, the so-called stars in the skies, the bunch of stars, the constellations, they are the same whether you're northern or southern hemisphere. Okay, so the whole planet is not flipped around on the southern hemisphere just because you're in the middle or you're on the other side of the planet. Okay, so you don't flip the low shoe chart. The low shoe chart is moving in that direction because time is moving forward. Right, so if it's a time-based chart, it's got to go forward. It can't go backwards and flip around. And second thing, you have to understand, if it's based on climate, then for us, I live in Malaysia, you know, and there are a lot of people who are also in Singapore, and we don't have no difference in climate. Okay, so do we flip the chart or not? Right? What about people in Indonesia? You see? So how do we flip the chart? So please, there's no flipping a chart. Yeah, there's only one low shoe chart, and we base on that low shoe chart for the whole Earth. So if you want to change the low shoe chart, please go to another planet. Okay. Now, let's see how many other questions are. A lot of questions here. Let's see here. Was born in 1957. Any unlucky month for the year? Well, I think people assume that lucky and unlucky is when, when you don't get the things going your way, you call it unlucky, right? When you get things going your way, you call it lucky. So I think there's a lot to do with luck, has to do with consciousness. If you're consciously creating the opportunities and aligning yourself with the opportunities with the right skill set, mindset, heart set, and also your energy, you will find that more things will go your way. And when more things go your way, you'll feel luckier. So when we say a certain month is supposed to be unlucky, it's that on that month, your consciousness, you're not so conscious of things that are external to you. You're not so conscious about your own desires and needs. You're unclear of what you want to achieve. You are basically in a situation where there are a lot of struggles when it comes to choices that you can make. And if you're doing something like that, because the energy is against you and you don't work to increase your consciousness, then you will find that month is very unlucky. Things just don't happen to go your way, but you don't even know your way in the first place, right? So in so-called clash months or whatever punishments months in the Bazi, those are the months where your spiritual practice needs to be heightened. Okay, that's why a lot of high-level sages and spiritual gurus and masters, a lot of astrologers don't dare to read for them back in ancient days because they're so high level in their consciousness study. They basically break free from the unconscious world where astrology is about. Astrology is when you're unconscious, a lot of things you are subject to a lot of the so-called natural energies. It's like if you know there's rain, I'm going to this afternoon because you read the weather forecast, you will not go out in the afternoon without an umbrella or be indoors. But if you're not aware of it, you're going to go out and, damn it, it's raining. It must be my bad luck day. But the information is available. All you have to do is be aware of it, okay? So training oneself either spiritually or using Feng Shui or understanding Bazi, it's about increasing your consciousness over what you're unconscious about. So when you're more conscious of it, you will have more good luck. So you can't say, which month am I unlucky? Well, the month that you are most freaking confused and not aware of shit that's happening, okay? So a lot of accidents happen so because you weren't conscious of the problem that were ahead of you. But if you're conscious of it, you will avoid that problem, right or not? So that's what Bazi or what Feng Shui is supposed to be helping you on, is to increase that and prevent this so-called unlucky months happening to you. I hope this explains, so-called unlucky situations in your life, okay? How you guys finding the Q&A so far? You guys good? Right. So let me see. I have 9 bamboos, Dracena. Are they any help? Nope. None of these bamboo stuff will have any help whatsoever. In fact, none of these actually do anything other than they just look good. Okay, so do put it wherever you want. Is this year a good year to start a business for Yin Water Rooster? Uh, I think you're trying to say, are there any obstructions and problems? I think this year for roosters is a big change. So if you are prepared for the change, because rooster and rabbit is clashing. So if you're prepared for the change and you're going for, I'm okay with this big transformation, because going from um, working for others and starting your own business is a big change. So some people to that is like a clash. So if you're okay with it, you're prepared for it, and you're not worried about, the environment being a bit harsh and challenging right now, then yeah, of course, it's a good year to start. Do you have to wait for years where you don't have any challenges whatsoever to start? Well, I think a lot of times challenges can either be external or internal. But this year, there's a lot of external issues because globally, there's a lot of concerns with stagflation, inflation happening, global recession, and all that. So if your business is something that solves a problem within this situation right now, then I think you should go ahead and do it. But if you're starting just because you're fed up with your boss, then my suggestion to you is don't do it, because it's a terrible, terrible time to put yourself in such a tricky and dicey environment. Okay. All right. Let me see. How true is changing feng shui by just changing the main door direction? Depends on what you're doing by so-called changing the main door direction, because in feng shui, main doors are used for two things. Number one, mainly to tap into existing external energies. So if I change the main door, because it's a very expensive exercise, and not to mention if not done well by good designers, it will look terrible for your house. I need to have substantial reason I'm doing that. And the reason should be either A, I'm avoiding something superbly negative from the environment that is causing tremendous problems for the household, or B, there's an extreme benefit because there is a very positive feature in the external environment that my door needs to align to. So if in the absence of these two reasons, either one of this, I will not change the door. So because it doesn't change the feng shui otherwise. You understand? So changing the feng shui must be an upgrade, not a downgrade. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very quick Q&A. I am glad so many of you guys turn up to listen to this event, this very impromptu event. So if you would like more of this, go ahead and leave your comments right below. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now and hit the bell icon for notifications, because I will be doing a couple of live Q&As impromptu. So you want to get that the notification. So do it right now. Hit the subscribe button and hit the icon, the bell icon for notification. And don't forget to check out the website, joeyup.com/FSA World. The link is right here on the comment section as well, because we are doing just one time only live stream feng shui and astrology for the World Edition this coming February the 1st to the 3rd. I hope you guys will join me then. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.